We roll on Mountain West Media Days 2021. I'm Jesse Kurtz. That is Bridget Howard. And it is our great pleasure now to head north up I-25 to Fort Collins, Colorado, and bring in Nico Medved, the head coach of the preseason favorite in the Mountain West, the Colorado State Rams. Nico, I'm not going to ask you your thoughts on being first, because I know what you're going to say. I will ask you, how much of a credit is it to what you and your coaches and the administration have bought into in the process? You came in to rebuild a program, and here you are, widely thought as a team that could challenge and maybe be the favorite in this league.
I think that's a great point. I think that's the way we look at it. And, you know, it's such a credit to the players and the coaches and the administration. You have a vision when you're doing this, and ultimately you get to the point where that's the position that you want to be in. You've earned respect from your peers. You've earned it through your hard work, and you see yourself as a program that can contend at the highest level of your league. And yeah, we know we haven't done anything yet this year, but at the same point in time, I'm really proud of the guys for all the work that they've put in, and they're right where they want to be, and that's all you can ask for.
If you have a question for Coach Medved, go ahead and raise your hand and get in queue. Coach, let's rewind a couple of years ago when you brought in some of these young players that are now preseason or even postseason all-conference players. When you had them in, and they're freshmen and they make freshman mistakes, but did you think back then, just wait until we get a couple of years under our belt and the heights that we could reach? Did you foresee this? I think you could see very, very clearly, like, yeah, some of those guys, of course they make young mistakes, but they also made a lot of big time plays as young players. And they're very talented, incredibly coachable. They're great human beings. We're really bought into the vision that we had for the program and for themselves. And I think you could just see that starting to build. And then you go into the off season, you see how hard they work, how committed they are to the process and everything that we were doing. There's no question that you could see that. And I think that they saw that in the team and in themselves. And it's really started to come to fruition here. And I think they would also tell you that, yeah, that's great, but there's still so much more that can be done and needs to be done. But I think very clearly we could see that a couple years ago.
Well, Coach, we've got a question for you from Justin Michael from DNVR Sports.
Hey, Coach, congrats on the preseason recognition. It's been upward trajectory each of the last 3 years. What was the biggest thing that had to change from year one to now to get this program to where it's at?
Man, that's a great question. I think it's just you have a vision as the head coach of what you want this to look like. And I think it just starts with, getting the right people on board with that. And that doesn't mean, we're for everybody or not, but finding out who really wants to be a part of that vision, who really believes in it, and getting the right people, on the bus, so to speak. It sounds with a cliche, but it's a people business. And I think that's the first thing that had to happen is get people who are on board and who are really excited about being here. And that was the first step. And then we've got some talented young players and some veteran guys too. I think back to Nico Carvacho and Chris Martin and Hiron Edwards and some of the older guys that really stuck around through the process that really played a huge part in starting to build the program. And we just had the right people on the bus, Justin. And that is really what started to spearhead this. So,
well, Coach, we've got another question for you from Kevin Lytle from the Fort Collins, Coloradan.
Hey, Nico. You scheduled really aggressively. Obviously, how much of that is kind of a statement of where this program is and what you want to do?
Ultimately, that's your goal. You want to have a chance to contend at the top of your league, and you want to play in the NCAA tournament. And, we all know that in order to do that, it depends on not just who you schedule, but who you can beat. And I think the one thing for us, we definitely, when we look back at the end of the season, whatever happens, we don't want to say that we laid up, so to speak. Wanted to make sure that we put ourselves out there and gave ourselves opportunities to create a resume for us to have a chance to play in the NCAA tournament. And so I think we've clearly done that in the schedule. I think the players are excited about that. I think that's what they want. And I think our league's doing the same thing. And ultimately we do that, and hopefully we get into league play. And I think the league's as good and as deep as it's ever been. And hopefully we're going to play our part in doing that. But we didn't want to look back at the end of the year, Kevin, and say that, hey, we didn't take our shots and didn't give ourselves a chance. And so we're definitely going to do that this year. And we're excited about it.
Thank you, Kevin. Next stop, coach, will be the Albuquerque Journal and Jeff Grammer.
Nico, how's it going, man?
Jeff, what's going on?
You guys are a team picked obviously where you were picked, and I think all three of those teams up top are picked where they are because of the familiarity that us and the media and people around this league that aren't on the teams know. We know a lot about you guys, but what does it take to kind of, I don't want to say reinvent yourself, but what you can't just stand pat. And when you have returning players year after year, and people know David Roddy, people know Isaiah Stevens, what do you guys have to do to be different than you were and to be better than you were last year? And what might we all be surprised about? What don't we know about Colorado State that we probably thought we knew?
I think, we obviously have a lot of guys returning, right? The majority of our roster is returning. And again, I think it starts from improvement from within. You get stronger in the weight room, everybody looking at their game individually and figuring out what they can do to be better than they were last year. I think you see a group who's done that. You're looking at some of the things you're doing schematically. What can we tweak? What can we change? Clearly for us, we've got to get a lot more consistent on the defensive end. You're looking at how you're guarding different things. What are you doing? Does it work? And then at the same point in time, we've added some new faces too. Some guys who I think really can help us and make an impact and be better than we were last year. And so it starts from improving from within. I think the guys have really taken that to heart and have worked really, really hard. And I think that it's making some changes, maybe schematically, or some tweaks, I would so to speak. But then we got some new guys too. So we got some new faces that I think can really add a different element to our team and hopefully can help us take it to another level.
One of those new guys is Chandler. Can you tell us anything about, what we as media and fans might see in Chandler Jacobs this year? And I know junior college players a lot of times take a little time to adapt at the D1 level. Does a D2 to D1 jump take that same kind of time? Will it take him a little time, or is he ready to go?
Of course it's going to take him some time. You're looking at your role is going to be different on this team than it was for him at his at Dallas Baptist. I think the system that we run is different. You're going to have to learn that. The one thing about Chandler is he's a great kid. He's a great athlete. I think he's going to be one of the best athletes in our league. He's a tremendous competitor on the defensive end. I think he brings us an element of perimeter defense that is going to be huge for us. I think so far in live play and practice, he's been our leading rebounder. So he brings a lot of things to us athletically that will change us. And he's a guy who can put the ball in the basket too. I think that the adjustment for him, Jeff, is just learning his way in our offense and his role and what that's going to look like. And I'm sure over time, as the season gets going, those things will evolve. But I think he's fitting great so far.
Thanks.
All right, Coach, we'll now go to Eli Bocker from Heat Check College Basketball.
Hi, Coach. I hope you're doing
Eli,
well.
what's up?
How's it going?
Good.
One of the things that I've noticed about your team over this 3-year run is on the defensive end. The first year being 261st in defensive efficiency, and now the way all up to 72nd this past year. I've spoken with some of your assistants on the staff, so I wanted to get your take. What do you think has contributed most to this defensive improvement, and what do you anticipate will happen this season on the defensive end?
Gosh, I think there's a lot of layers to that. We made a change in our defensive scheme, from year 1 to year 2. I think some of that is when it's a new scheme. There's some learning from the players, obviously being young players, and even the older guys, a new scheme. And then even as coaches, just kind of learning, tweaking it. I think we got into the next year, and I think, we were able to make maybe some adjustments schematically. And then you've just got players who are more and more comfortable with what we're doing. And then you add that into last year. I think it's just those things culminating, and then maybe more than anything, just a commitment on the defensive end, from the top down. but at the same time, I mean, we're not where we need to be. I think at one point last year, we got up to 38th in the country in defensive efficiency. And we ended wherever we did, was at 72nd, but we just didn't finish the season the way we needed to on that end of the floor. We didn't offensively either, for that matter. But, you know, we're going to have to be more consistent that way. And I mean, it starts with a commitment. You hope that guys who've been in a system now for a while have some familiarity, some comfort in what we're doing. And then I think as coaches, can we continue to tweak, add some, maybe do some different things that help take us to the next level. But, you know, there aren't a ton of tricks. A lot of it's just a commitment and a toughness and understanding what it takes to win at the highest level. And the margins are small, Eli, you know that. And our team knows that too. And so fighting for every margin you can to get better and better is going to be critical for us.
Great, Coach. We'll now go to Bob Beeler, the Boise State play-by-play analyst.
Had a question where you thought you could get more out of Roddy and Stevens, the two guys that were picked for all conference this year. Thought they were fantastic last year. So what do they bring to your team, and where do you think they can get better?
You know, I tell this to everybody, you know, when your best players are your best people, it makes your job, it's just a joy every day to come to practice, and it makes life so much easier. So I would start with that. I mean, that's what they bring, and they work incredibly hard. They're committed to what we're doing every day. It starts there. And then, you know, their talent level, Isaiah Stevens is a playmaker. He can score on all three levels, create shots for others. He's just an unbelievable competitor, a warrior that way. And I think he'd be the first to tell you, it's like, yeah, that's great, but he wants to take his game to a whole nother level. And I think that he's really worked hard in the off season. And I think he's just chomping at the bit to get out there and do that. And, you know, David's the most versatile player I've ever coached. He's a guy that can, you know, score at all three levels. He rebounds, he passes. He's an incredibly difficult matchup. We ask a lot of him to play, you know, all five positions on the court in some form or fashion. But I think those guys would tell you the thing I hope that separates them is they're just not satisfied at all. I think that's great. They're happy they're picked first team all league and that we're picked to win it first, but that's not where they want. We have work to do, and they're the two guys that are going to help lead us there. But they've had great seasons last year, but I think there's a lot more in the tank for both of those guys, and that's what we're looking forward to this year.
Thank you, Bob. Next stop, the San Diego Union Tribune coach, and Mark Ziegler. Mark.
Coach, what's the difference from being a hunter to being the hunted and having that target on your back as a preseason first place pick?
Oh, yeah, we'll find out, right? I mean, I don't know. I think we've got a mature group of guys who understand that, yeah, hey, that's great. We've got recognition, and it's a testament to the hard work that they put in, and it's a position they want to be in. But I mean, listen, these guys have been through this league before, and they've been through games. They know how hard it is to win any game at this level, to go in and the league's going to be as strong from top to bottom as it's ever been. Tremendous coaches, tremendous players. And we've been on the other side of that. I mean, we've been picked wherever we've been picked and have, finished higher than that. I mean, rarely do the postseason polls, are they the same as the preseason? And so I'm not worried about our guys not being hungry and not understanding how hard it is to win every game. And so I just think you have to embrace it. You know, that's what it is. You understand you're going to get everybody's best shot every night. You got to be ready for that. But I think as a competitor, that's what you want. And so for us, it's just about embracing it. We have a tremendous amount of respect for everybody that we play against and know how difficult our schedule is, but we're ready to get rolling.
And you mentioned earlier that you scheduled hard. You wanted to take your best shot. San Diego State has done that as well, probably scheduled even harder than you did. But the rest of the conference has not, with only a couple of exceptions. And I'm not going to point out, individual teams that didn't schedule hard, but does that disappoint you as a league? You guys talk about you wanted to get more at-large berths, and only two of you did it this year.
that's not my job. Listen, I've been in those rooms, and you're the head coach and your staff's in there, and you got to look at your own team and your own program and your situation. And you've got to look at what do you think is best for your team that year? That's not up to me to make those decisions or say good or bad. They know their teams and they're a lot better than I do. Ultimately I just control what we do. And I just felt like for us, this was the right move. This is what we wanted to do. We really wanted to take a shot. And that's all you control. I mean, ultimately, I think we know that. I mean, the years that the league has had multiple bids, it comes down to when you get into conference play, how many great opportunities do you have? And you want more and more teams to have their metrics the right way. I want quad 1, quad 2 opportunities in league play. And I think last year you saw that, right? We had an opportunity to get 4 teams in up until the last couple of weeks of the season. And ultimately, I think that's the vision for the league. But, Mark, I don't know. Everybody's got their own things that they need to worry about in their own program. And hopefully, regardless of people's non-conference schedule, let's just go win a lot of games in the non-league. And if we do that, I think the rest will take care of itself.
Thank you, Mark, for the question. And Coach Nico, thank you for your time. You're a popular guy, well-deserved, and I appreciate you. You're a class act and look forward to you guys making a deep run in March and through March.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
You bet. That's Nico Medved, the head coach of the Colorado State Rams. We're not done, though, talking Rams basketball.
We are not. We will hear from David Roddy and Isaiah Stevens, 2 players who have just certainly made their mark on the Rams program, and 2 players that, Coach Medved said in David Roddy, he's one of the most versatile players that he's ever coached.
Yeah, they'll get up and down the floor. David Roddy is so good defensively. He attacks the basket. We've seen Isaiah Stevens shoot game-winning shots like it was nothing. He pushes the floor, and these 2 have grown together within this system. And they are one of the primary reasons that they were picked number 1 in the Mountain West, receiving 11 first-place votes. And there's a lot of expectations, and rightfully so. Nico Medved has done a wonderful job in rebuilding programs wherever he has been. Last stop at Drake. And is doing it here at Colorado State and has them in a great spot to challenge for a conference championship and get back to the NCAA tournament.
Absolutely. Well, it is now time to bring in 2 of the Colorado State Rams, and David Roddy and Isaiah Stevens. David, Isaiah, how are things going for you guys?
Going well so far, enjoying media day so far, and enjoying the rest day as well.
Same for me. I appreciate you guys having us.
Absolutely. Well, like we talked about with Coach Medved, your team was picked to finish first in the preseason poll this year. What are your thoughts on that?
It's a big honor. It's the goal that, Zay and I have been talking about since freshman year. It's the area that we wanted to improve on, of course. Coming in our freshman year, we were placed 9th. And the tremendous growth that the team has had and the coaching staff has had over the past 2 years. It's just a real testament of how hard they've worked. And I'm just really proud of my team, but we can't be satisfied, and we'll just have to keep taking it day by day to keep getting better.
Like Roddy said, it's a big time honor. We're definitely grateful for the recognition, but at the same time, satisfaction typically leads to failure. And that's something that I live by, and a lot of my teammates do too. So we have to come out here and work each and every possession and win every game. So we're really excited about it, but there's still a lot of work to be done.
Well, if you have a question for David or Isaiah, please make sure to raise your hand to enter the queue. And we actually have a question for you right now. So we will go to Justin Michael from DNVR Sports.
Hey guys, congrats on the preseason recognition. You mentioned you guys were picked 9th in your first year. Now you're the league favorites. What do you think the biggest difference is with this program, from now to when you guys first came in?
For me, I feel like it's just been our development. We come in each and every day. We work really, really hard as a unit from the top down. And like I said, there hasn't been a sense of satisfaction in our program. There's always been room for us to improve on the floor, off the floor, in the weight room, different areas. And I feel like we've taken a lot of that to heart. And so we continue to come in each and every day with the growth mindset and just trying to improve.
For me, I would just say it's just the buy-in and the winning culture that Coach Medved has been trying to install into us over the past few years. I mean, not skipping any reps, going hard and getting in extra work as well. This is the first team I've been on that has as many people who, go out by themselves and work on their game as much as they have. Is just amazing to see. And I'm really proud to be a part of this team.
Nico's talked a lot about kind of needing to be more consistent on the defensive end. Obviously, you guys made progress there, but then, didn't quite finish where he was hoping to. What needs to happen for you guys to kind of find that consistency, maybe be a, top 50 team in defensive efficiency?
Yeah, I would say it's just the details and focusing on the details late in the game when you're tired. When you're really fatigued, it gets really hard to, that's when championship teams really win, is on the defensive end and late in the game. So that's really what we had to focus on. Coach challenges us every day and keeps reminding us about the details. We just got to keep going and create that mental toughness to win games at the end.
Yeah, like Roddy said, just being able to stay consistent in our details and being mentally tough enough to stay to our principles no matter what the situation is in the game, whether it's been a long stretch and guys are starting to get tired, or it's early in the game and guys have a lot of enthusiasm. Regardless of what's going on, we got to be able to stay consistent and stay disciplined. And I feel like if we do that, we'll be in some great shape this year.
Thank you, Justin. We do have about 4 minutes left with Isaiah and David. Next stop, Paul Leffler, the voice of Fresno State Athletics. Paul.
Hey, David, I'm curious how often you hear from Coach Adazio trying to recruit you, one, and number two, what's going to be different about your game on the floor this year?
Yeah, Coach Adazio hasn't reached out yet. I think Coach Medved probably has him blocked on my phone or something like that. I haven't heard any communication about that yet. But the changes for me this season definitely was, getting in better shape for sure. We're going to have to play, Zay and I are going to have to play a lot of minutes this year and in a lot of games. So definitely just, getting my conditioning up as well as my playmaking, creating off the dribble, whether it's my own shot or creating for others as well. And then just keeping the game simple, taking what I can and not forcing it too much, and also getting my teammates involved. That's really been the focus this past offseason, and I feel like I've grown a lot in those areas, but there's still work to be done.
And Isaiah, is there a guy on your team, one of your teammates, who you think is kind of the unsung hero who helps the rest of you play better or be more focused?
Oh man, I'm gonna have to go with my guy Trace Young and Nick Bassett, our two walk-ons. They bring enthusiasm each and every day. They push us. They don't give any possessions off whenever we're going against them. Without guys like that on your team, you kind of get a false sense of where you are, just from an execution perspective, because they're going to go hard each and every possession. And so those two guys, I definitely say, are the unsung heroes of the Colorado State men's basketball team.
Thanks, guys. Good luck.
All right, we'll now go to Kevin Lytle from the Fort Collins, Coloradan.
Hey guys, thanks for your time today. Nico and the staff scheduled aggressively. Just what does that mean for you guys to, that they view, the program at a point to, play top 25 type of teams and try and do that to build your resume?
For me personally, I'm really excited about it. I feel like those are the kind of games that we came here to play. Definitely going to be some tough matchups, but hey, we'll see where we really are, see how much better we can get through those experiences. And I feel like they'll also just be able to pay a big dividend for us later on in the year, going out and playing those tough teams and, hopefully winning a lot of those games will be big time for our program.
Yeah, I would agree with what Zay said. We just really have to accept the challenge and be ready early in the season. Last year it was kind of different just with COVID and everything, but we're in really big games. I mean, starting November 9th. So we'll just have to be ready to play, and it'll definitely help our team chemistry as well, and just our team as a whole.
All right, Kevin. Well, thank you so much for your question. And last question for you guys before we let you go. Isaiah, rumor has it you are the best NBA 2K player on the team. Now, I'm going to hold off on your answer here. David, is that true?
I think it's true. I really personally don't play 2K, but we share an apartment together, and we have 3 other teammates on the team. So it gets pretty loud in there when Zay starts to play. So I know he's winning at that point. So I would say so.
Okay. We just had to clear up the rumors there. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you so much for taking the time for us today, and we wish you nothing but the best this season.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.